We're ready.
So we'll call to order the White Lake Library Township. It's backwards, White Lake Township Library Board of Directors meeting on June 28th at 6:45. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Okay.
I don't like.
That one I don't have to vote?
No, we don't.
I'm in favor of starting the meeting.
We're called to order
Okay.
officially. Go ahead. Roll call, is that?
No, we say pledge allegiance first.
I forgot we did. All right. Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Now it's roll call. Now it's your turn.
President Jennifer Schultz,
Here.
Vice President Richard McGlue.
Here.
Treasurer Gwendolyn Newton,
Here.
Secretary Jake Dudek, here. Trustee Karen Wines.
Here.
Trustee Eric Shotwell is absent, excused, and we are also joined in attendance by Director April Stevenson and Assistant Director Amy Rosen.
Okay. So can I get someone to approve the agenda as it's presented?
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4 aye votes. All right, we have some presentations from our staff tonight. Okay, so it looks like Emma, Emily, you're on first. Okay,
Yeah, so I want to, very pleased to have this section added to our agenda. We're going to use this to spotlight staff services, programs, and partnerships. For our staff spotlight tonight, I would like to introduce our head of youth and teen services, Emily Airlock.
So yeah, I'm Emily Herlocker. I have worked here at the White Lake Township Library since January of 2021. And I've been head of youth and teen services for just over a year. Going great. Okay. I oversee all of our collection development for youth and teen services, including our print, audio, AV, and maintain the budgets for youth and teen. Work with the adult staff to schedule programming for youth and teen. I oversee all of our summer reading and Beanstack challenges. And as of recently, I do all of the newsletter design.
Thank you. Sit tight there for just a second, because I also want to introduce tonight Faith Mendon, our youth specialist. Faith, can you share a little bit about your role here?
Yes, hi, I'm Faith Mendon. I started here in April, but I have been working in libraries since 2016, so a few years now. I'm the youth services specialist, so I do all of the displays in the youth department. I have recently been put in charge of ordering AV materials for youth and teens, so that's video games, movies, audio stuff. And then starting in the fall, I'll be doing some teen and children's programs and the kids make it crafts.
very nice.
Yeah,
Cool. That'll be fun.
We are very happy to have both of these ladies here on our team. They're doing a wonderful job, and I want to give them a big thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I'm now going to have Emily. She's going to take the floor, and she's going to share a little bit about the summer reading program and some current reading stats.
Yes, so summer reading for this year is All Together Now. It's the theme that we are going with. Started on June 5th and goes through August 12th. So we're just under halfway through right now. You guys were presented with some stats from, I think, like the beginning of summer reading. So I have the most updated ones that I will share with you guys. So as of right now, we have 602 total registrants for summer reading.
Nice.
357 of those are active readers, which means they're actively logging through our Beanstack app. 2,357 books have been read, 192,673 minutes. 353 rewards have been earned so far, with 31 challenge completions. That breaks down to 148 adult readers 120 teen readers, which is 6th through 12th grade, 228 kids, 1st through 5th grade, and 106 babies through kindergarten that are reading with us right now. 543 of those participants are White Lake residents, and Dublin Elementary is our most active with 92 readers.
Great.
Wow.
It's going good. We have our summer bash party in August, which is very exciting. Should be just as fun as last year, if not as hot.
What day is it?
August 16th, it's a Wednesday evening,
Okay.
mid-August. I think the 16th, it ends on the 12th.
Thank you, Emily, and
Thank
Emily
you.
will be back in the fall for a final summer reading program presentation for wrapping up. It's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Emily. All right. So it is time for public comments. Jerry and Roger, are you going to speak independently? Okay. I'll give you 6 minutes if you want to come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want you up here. So thanks for giving us your address and stuff.
I'm Jerry Harrington, live at 2240 Wigan Lane on Pontiac Lake, zip 4386. I've been a resident here 16 years, been active with the library about 14. It's a wonderful, wonderful facility. The staff is so pleasant and helpful. They support the friends like you wouldn't believe, and you really appreciate everyone's efforts. Our team really is grateful for all the support you give us. And this is a real asset to the community, and anyone who thinks differently should come and visit and read our schedule of programs and events that we have for all ages, plus free computer service for those who don't have the wherewithal to have it at home. That's great. So it's for everyone. Whether you're a reader or not, there's something here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. I'm Roger Harrington, and I live at the same address as Jerry. I'd mentioned this to somebody before. When I first joined General Motors, I worked in their real estate division. And I was tasked, along with a couple of other people, whenever we were looking at a plant site, we were suggesting, here are the cities that you should go to see whether or not we should build a plant there. And obviously among streets and utilities and railroads and all that sort of thing, they asked, we're going to be having a lot of executives coming to run this plant, and they're going to be bringing their families. And their families want to know 2 things in particular. What is the educational system like in terms of how much money is spent per pupil? And how is it rated in the state? And they also wanted to know, what is the library situation like? And so I learned quite a bit from that. For example, when we left Detroit and we're looking for a community, I went in and interviewed the education board and asked them how much money was spent per pupil and what their library was like. We eventually chose West Bloomfield. They had one of the top high schools in the state of Michigan, in the top 10%. And their library that they built was a beautiful library, and it was viewed as one of the 10 top libraries in the country. And when I look at realtors, and I've talked to a couple of realtors out here, and they have families that are coming, obviously with children. One of the first questions that those families are asking is about the educational system and the library. And so you should know that that is an attraction for people of education and wealth. They want to come to a community where their kids will feel taken care of. And obviously the library is a wonderful library, and you've got a great director.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have a good.
Thank
Thank you,
But
Jerry.
left out, and we have a great friendship.
Yeah, do have a great
Amazing,
friends group.
amazing friends group.
Yeah.
All right, and that closes our public comment section. Thank you again for sharing. I never thought about the library being a draw for people coming in. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we just had Kelly Lane over at the Township works with realtors and she packs our newsletter in there. But they came by to do video and pictures. And we sent them stock pictures specifically for realtors that are, saying, what's in your community? And
That's
so
great.
we got a lot of inside photos, outside photos, and video. And so, yeah, to promote.
That's great. Okay, next on the agenda, we've got the approval of last month's minutes.
I would actually like to make a very slight change to last month's minutes. Just so it's clarified for one of the banks under the finance committee. We have a motion to use JP Morgan CD. And I think it should say JP Morgan Chase. I just would like the word Chase added to where it says JP Morgan on 2 different lines. Just so that I don't have a problem when I take it to I think that CD expires on July 12th, and I want to make sure that I don't get any pushback from Chase that it doesn't say the
It's the
proper.
last one.
Yep, I see.
You see it?
Yeah, so if we could just-
Under finance committee.
Yeah, if we could just add the word Chase at JP Morgan Chase, I would
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yep.
There's 2 spots.
Yep.
And then with that change, I make a motion to approve the minutes
As modified.
as modified. Thank you, Rich.
I'll second that.
All right, all in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to officer reports. My report just is that I was happy with the strategic planning focus groups and interviews. If anybody didn't get a chance to participate, we just need to make sure that you guys I guess Eric might be the only person who hasn't, because you have an appointment set. Right?
I think Eric scheduled.
Has one too?
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
I just want to make sure all the board members got a chance to talk to them directly on what they're seeing and what they're doing, and then have interviews themselves, so.
Mm.
Okay,
Were we supposed to have an individual interview?
Or
Not
No.
necessarily.
I wasn't sure if they were
Yeah,
gonna
it-
do.
either-
Eric and
either
Jim,
in a-
they didn't get to meet them.
Because I didn't really
Yeah.
get much time with them.
Okay,
I got no time with them, so it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't
I
get
walked
much time.
into her office.
all right. So maybe we can make a note with Kathy and Elaine that Glenn get a one-on-one.
And Karen really didn't, well,
We see them every week.
Yeah,
Do you
we
want a
see
one-
them.
Do you want a one-on-one? I just want to make sure.
I
all the
thought we had
board-
decided that the 3 of us were not going
We're
to
to-
speak
okay.
one-on-one with
Yeah.
them.
So I just want to make sure anybody who wanted to give input on the board got a chance to do that. So,
But do you want to do a one-on-one?
I wouldn't mind doing a one-on-one. That would be great.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, April, for following up on that. So anyway, we had a real high level overview today, and they're gonna finesse that, and then we'll have another one next week. So,
Wonderful.
all right. Then that moves us to you, Rich.
And I would have said things that you said, so I'll,
Okay,
so no report.
okay.
Yeah,
Anything for you?
just through the grapevine, gotten positive feedback on the strategic planning survey. A lot of people excited to, share input and have been sharing it organically themselves, so.
Good.
Awesome.
All righty. Okay, Gwen.
Okay, so let's look at our balance sheet and if anybody has any questions about the financials, I did look through them. Everything looks fine. I'm not sure. I might need to update this. On the second page, I might need to update a little bit or work with Joe. It's not super clear on which ones have already matured unless,
Oh, on the
Yeah.
investment sheet.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just, it's starting because we're doing so many CDs, it's really starting to be a little overwhelming in what, what's coming up, right? Or what's already matured and what we've moved and what we've actually balanced out. So I think that maybe I'll work with Joe on that.
Well, yeah, because this is from end of May.
Right,
Yeah.
and we did a lot of changes in June.
We
Oh, in
did,
June,
Yeah, we made a lot of changes in June and July. So,
But
I-
it's as of May 31st.
right, it is. Yeah, so,
I wanted a little bit interesting, I wanted a little clarification, because I kept looking at the end maturity date, and then when you went down below to see date invested, if it was reinvested, and then I was like.
right,
It's a little more.
it does, absolutely, because almost everything's been reinvested. Tomorrow, we have a CD that's expiring and a CDARS CD. And 200,000 of that is going to a new Flagstar CD, which we approved last month, and I think that CD was 228,000. I think it's gonna be 232, it's gonna be like 32,000. It's gonna go into checking and then.
Yeah, the
2,000
balance
yes.
goes checking.
The other thing that, I'll get that in the finance report, but I do think that we need to clean this up a little bit so it's easier for people to understand.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, it's, you know, if you read the detail, it's following what we planned on doing.
Okay.
So. I didn't see anything that, you know, really stuck out to me, April, when I was looking through the P and L, you know, in the budget versus the actuals. Or the cash disbursements. So if anybody has any questions. If not, I'm gonna present the June 2023 financial statements and bills. You know, motion, and I'm gonna make a motion to accept the bills for payment as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Four yes votes. Okay, so moving on. The library director. report.
Good one. So, kind of a busy month, a lot with the strategic planning, but I'll touch on that later once we get to that part. Do want to let you know, if you haven't checked out the website, that administrative staff photos were added to the library staff page on the website. Very excited to do this. It's very similar to your board pictures, you know, similar background, and something that I really wanted to get added. So that was done. Very proud of Amy and Kim. They received acquisition training from TLN. This is very special, not happening in every library, and so we were chosen for that. So I'm very proud.
Good.
Of that. Moving down, or just to recap, don't forget you have trustee roundtables available. Hopefully they'll come closer.
Yes.
No, I think, and I'm gonna have a vacation.
Watch for the ones like, you know, Cook County.
Exactly. So with getting some new computers, Kim's was installed and unfortunately affected our people counter a little bit. And so May 23rd to 30th, we had to use the handheld counter during that time. Staff are very good at that. So stats are fairly close to what we normally have. They're keeping up with lots of changes. They selected and donated items to replenish the little library at Holly Park.
Oh, good.
Oh. Jennifer, one of our staff members, assisted with the strategic planning breakfast, so a big thank you to her. And we provided the friends with a bunch of old magazines from the library's collection that were needed. And I'm going to touch upon how that was a really good idea to do later on in this director's report. Our communications and marketing has been doing very well. Thank you to Heather, she's done a great job. And I will talk about how that strategic planning marketing went again later when we get to strategic planning. We did receive a patron comment via email thanking us and they just wanted to say thank you for all you do to keep the library clean, safe, and easy to find books. I love all the books that you have, so a big thank you to them. Connections for me, the huge, as I would say, I've been on the huge Friends Exec Board meeting, various board committee meetings, you all know because I'm there. But met with the Lions Club representatives. We are planning an on-site youth vision check program for the fall. They're going to come by 2 times and they bring their machine and we kind of piggyback it off of a youth program. And so it gives lots of kids an opportunity to get that iPad that they need, because we know that that's where some learning difficulties can start is with vision. So that's a great thing to have. They are also have already provided us with a container to collect gently used eyeglasses and hearing aids, and you'll see that right in the front lot. So we're excited to have that. Facilities, our sprinkler system was fixed at no cost to the library. We finally got that electrical lighting issue in the mechanical room fixed, and we added the electrical outlets in the lobby. Yay!
Yay! For all of us working on the Friends of the Library book sale, yay!
Very excited about that one. That just makes my day.
Mine too.
And on to our friends who held their fabulous book sale June 14th through the 17th. I hear they made some very good money on that one, but
$6,400, folks.
Woo!
there you go.
Yay.
But the bulk of them.
Did the raffle go well?
Pardon me?
Did the raffle go well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's where that magazine donation comes into play. They had a full year that we gave them of 2021 Rolling Stone magazine, and they were able to sell that for $75 on eBay.
Immediately.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, it was like immediate.
If anybody is interested, a year of Rolling Stone is $99 a year. I know because I pay it. So 75 is quite a good
Nice.
chunk for that.
So that's great. And then as I have sent you a calendar date, but we do have the memorial unveiling for former library director Larry Ostrowski's installation, and that is going to be on Wednesday, July 12th.
It's 6:30, right? 6:30.
We have it set for 6:30, but 6, we may have to start the
Oh, it's
The-
6?
well, we may have to start the Friends quarterly meeting first, just because some invitations have already gone out before it
Okay.
was 6 and 6:30, but I'll touch base with you after the meeting about that. But July 12th, regardless, that we got the date. So we're excited about that. Friends wanted me to let you know too, current projects for the Friends Board include the investigation of a program to provide income from unsold books about book sales. After book sales, the purchase of a Friends logo tablecloths to be used at various events, and work on a memorandum of understanding between us and the library and the Friends group. And they are planning a display for National Friends Week in October, as well as fall programming. Their annual Friends meeting is planned for October 12th at 1 o'clock. Calendar invites will go out for that, so you won't have to miss it. They will plan on election of officers at that time. Nominations for a slate of officers are encouraged. Gifts and memorials, we received a great goodie pack from author Dorinda Jones. A large donation of rubber stamps for scrapbooking. We used a lot of those in our iCube, and the rest were donated to our friends. And during a recent visit to Eastern Market by our own Amy, she met a local author who donated one of his books to the library.
Oh,
Great.
Lastly, of the 10 planters, we finally were able to get those out to our patrons. We had a secret drawing for patrons that had checked out seeds during March through May. So they were all very excited to receive those. Our DIA bus trip was a great success. Full, a lot of fun from what I hear. So good.
can I give a shout out to Heather? She did a great job of taking care of everybody and getting us our snacks and water. So thanks, Heather.
How many people went?
The whole bus. I don't know.
30? Nice.
Yep.
Ah, fabulous.
I saw the picture, lots of smiling faces.
Yeah,
But why were the men all the way in the back?
we put them in the back. That's where they belong.
Staff are working on fall programming.
Ah, that's fabulous.
Amy is going to be presenting at other TLN MAP programs. We're excited for her. And she attended a webinar, 10 questions you need to ask about psychological safety in the organization and the key tools that help you get there. I took a look at it, actually very, very good. Youth and Teen Services, we added a couple taller shelving units in the youth room. This is going to help us with our growth collections. That includes growth for parenting, for JER, leapfrog collections. It's also going to help us next year. We're going to introduce Storytime kits. It's going to give us a real place to set those, and so we're very excited about that. I'm sure you've seen our former 1,000 Books bulletin board was changed, so you see there it's much larger and it encompasses all of the books before sections. And then, as I mentioned, Stephanie is researching several options for Storytime kits, costs, and shelf space, and we're going to be very excited to get those going. That was one of her goals for this year. So
What's that? Can you tell us what a Storytime kit is?
Yeah, so a Storytime kit is basically a parent or a caregiver would be able to take home a box and it would have a theme. So it would have all the books you need for that theme. So let's say it was bears, so it would have books that were really picture books related to bears. It might have a felt in it. It could have a puzzle, but everything that they would need to do a story time.
Okay.
Yeah. List of songs, rhymes, etc. Okay, and then parenting collection, just an update on that. It is out there right now. It is between it is in the middle shelving between the two units when you first walk into the youth area. A little bit about a parenting collection. A parenting collection empowers parents to make choices for their children, to assist children throughout their stages of growth, and for the parents themselves to consistently learn new skills. And that's what our parenting collection is going to be. So it will help host a wide variety of books and opportunities for parents, and we're very excited to bring that here. So just a little bit about that. Landscaping, we were able to move the juniper bushes for the memorial, and those have been placed around the eastern redbud in the front there. They are thriving and doing very well. If you haven't noticed, we also have a little bit more new mulch to freshen up that area in particular with the movement of the trees, and also to spread around the memorial once that is done, and also around the base of the digital signage. When we removed some of the grass from the digital signage, the foot for the digital signage, the cement footing, is actually about 8 inches beyond the sign, which makes planting difficult. So we decided that we'll put some mulch right around that immediately, and then some soil, and then some plantings.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's, we're working on that. And then safety and security, we reviewed current video surveillance cameras and met with a provider for a quote on additional cameras for the 2024 budget.
Okay.
Lastly, staff anniversaries, kudos to Lois Keel, one of our substitutes for 16 years with us, and for our own Maria for 4 years. Congratulations to them. And our Emily received a compliment from a local Girl Scout group for her wonderful library tour. She was, quote, very engaging with the students.
Very nice. Okay, who's left?
Yep. Any questions on stats?
I do have a question for you. There is a coffee coming up in July.
Yeah.
That I can't. But can we tell everybody else here in case we can get somebody to attend for the board?
Yeah.
It was the 14th. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm planning on attending.
You're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, the multi-organization copy, she sent it out to all of us.
Okay, but it's been a while and
Yeah.
I didn't have it in my calendar because I'm actually on vacation that weekend. I just wondered if I just wanted to make sure whenever April's going out, if there's a board member that can go to where it's appropriate. I just want to make sure that we know it's covered.
And I would like that too, because I would like to give some training to you so that you can kind of see what exactly is pertinent to talk about and to share. What are they looking for as businesses?
Mhm.
What might they want to hear?
Yeah,
So,
that'd be good training.
Yeah, for sure, because when I went to talk with one of the local credit unions, they were wanting to know what they could actually help us with and support different programs. So they were actually looking to be a sponsor for things. So, yes.
So do we want to set up a time for training? Or,
I can do that, or I can when we
send
go
out
to some of these
survey
things,
material?
or yeah,
okay,
you
all
step
right.
in.
but I think we should have like a sign up for the board members. I think we should have a list of the upcoming events.
Yes,
And then just check mark the ones you'd like support at. And then there's 6 of us, we can
Right.
hopefully.
yeah, we'd like to
Catch
be able to be involved with going to those if possible,
Yeah.
so.
Any kind of thing you need help with.
I think it's more later in the summer and in the fall, there's quite a
Yeah.
bit works out.
There were 2 coffees right at the very front of August. I put both of those down.
And one here, that's one.
That's the one here.
one here.
Yep.
That's the 11th or whatever.
No, that one is the fourth.
4th, the first one is, okay, all right. Yeah, so if we could start a sign up, maybe. Can we put it on Google?
I have them on, I have those,
So if you accept the invitation.
right,
Yeah,
Then
that
you'll
shows
have
us
the-
there.
Then you'll have, that might be we've been invited, if you can go.
Yeah.
Accept the invitation, if there's nobody,
Okay.
you know, that's accepted, like a week out. Strong arm us.
yeah, so,
Remind us.
and I can see here who answered. Where's the red poppy?
Oh, I looked that up.
That's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's off of, not, is it Harvey? Yeah.
It's over
that
by
way.
Harvey Lake Road.
Yeah, it's over by, it's like, yeah, it's down there. That's a great. It's a little complicated to get to. So give yourself some time because it's kind of hidden, the road it's
Okay.
on. I know the first time I went, I passed the road, but. And that was with GPS, so. Turn.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that in Highland?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
It's a little bit. A lovely place.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, thank
Thank
you. That
you.
was a very.
very nice.
So. Under committee reports, finance report, we must do this alphabetically. No, we don't. Okay, so finance committee gets to go first.
Okay, so we have, I just want to let everybody know that tomorrow our CD at our CDR CD expires. And it's hang on, and it's going to be, so it was for 228,000. I think it's going to be 231 something. We're going to take that 31,000 and it's going to, per our board meeting last month, it's going to checking. 200,000 is going to Flagstar for a new CD. And I've worked with Flagstar and they're going to set that up as of tomorrow. The other thing is that I've been communicating with our representative at Flagstar. You know, we're doing a lot of the CDRs with them, which work out really well. And also there's CDs, and then we have the, you know, the other CDs across the community. But she wanted to remind me that our ICS, which is insured cash sweep accounts, they are insured, FDIC insured to 135 million. So, you know, because I was little, yes, I was, and I didn't realize that, and I don't think any of us realized that, because
No.
really what they are is a money market. They're multiple money markets, you know, they pull that, so they have us in all these different money markets, and then they pull at the end of every day what we need for the next day. So it looks like, you know, we might be over, but I mean, we might, you know, be in the red, but then they pull that money to cover those expenses for the day. So those, I am gonna ask her for even more detail, because I didn't think it was detailed enough to tell me that she says your FDIC insured an ICS up to 135, but I didn't see that except for in her email. But I did a lot of reading about ICSs, and so they do, they're pretty safe to use a sweep account like we're using, and it gives us a good interest rate. But using the CDs, we actually have a better interest rate. They're about maybe 1.25% less than doing a CD. So we're still doing really, really well on the ICS, but it doesn't hurt to do the CDs. But I was really start looking already to January, and when we start getting all our tax money in, and being very concerned about, you know, meeting those FDIC rules. But as it goes into our checking, it actually moves into ICS, and we'll be covered. So I feel much better about that, not being in a huge hurry to move that money out of the ICS.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, we still will to make as much money as interest as we can, but I won't feel as much pressure. And then we have we have an addendum to our EFT ACH approved vendors. And I think it's this last one, correct?
Basic.
No, it's the basic, um,
Basic needs to be divided into two. One is gonna be FSA.
Thank you.
Services. Other one is plan funding.
so they're two different, they're two separate ones. And then, FSA, is it still 400?
The FSA admin services with a max of $100.
That's
Plan
100.
funding with a max of 400.
Okay, and this is the one that, we signed for with Flagstar the other day, right? So we need to, so we've been paying that basic one as, a check. And then basic was sending an EFT. And we didn't have it listed because we didn't have that customer, that corporate number listed in our ACH approved. So we need to approve these as two separate, these basic as two separate entities. So that we can do ACH on that instead of cutting a check every month.
So is it
Do we have to approve the
400
addendum?
combined?
No, it's 100.
400, four,
We've been signing a check for like $51.
okay.
Okay, and then then the plan funding is under $400. So we decided $100, it shouldn't go up more than that. Is it $51 or 53?
53.
Yeah, I think, so we sign it, they've been EFTing it, we get that email saying, you know, this is an approved vendor. Then we cut the check and we've been doing this for the last 2 or 3 months. We decided that it'd just be best to add it to the EFT.
Okay. Do we need you're making the recommendation?
I'm making I'm making a motion to add basic FSA admin as a separate line item in our EFT ACH approved vendor list. With a monthly maximum amount of $100.
Okay. You get on that, Jake?
Motion to add basic FSA admin as a separate.
ACH, EFT ACH approved vendor.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed $100. Frequency is monthly. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Karen's our seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. There's 4 yes votes.
And then we have one other CD that is JP Morgan Chase that's up on July 12th. And we are going to renew that at, I believe, $200,000. Are we gonna, I'm sorry, I have to say the right thing. We are going to renew the July one, we're gonna renew at the 225,000 for a 7-month CD, and interest is gonna go to the Flagstar checking. So I will work with Chase on doing that wire transfer, and there'll be a small fee for the wire transfer over to,
The Blackstone.
yeah, and then I think, you know what? I might ask him to cut me a check, it might, because I think I could pick the check up at the bank. I'll just,
Okay.
because it might, I don't know what they're gonna charge us for that wire transfer.
$17 or something.
Well, I don't know what
Do I
Chase
get
is gonna
confused
charge.
with-
Yeah, I don't know
got
what
confused with something else.
Chase is gonna charge us, but they're right down the street. I may ask them for a check and I could bring it in and then, and Heather could put it in the deposits. Right?
All right.
She's looking at you. I mean, she can just add it to the deposits to Flagstar.
Okay.
I'll work that out with Chase.
Okay.
But whichever one's the least expensive is what I'll do.
Okay.
That's it.
April, do you want to add anything more on strategic planning committee?
Yeah, I mentioned the director's report, but yeah, it was nice to meet with them in person. The management team got to go out to lunch with them and, discuss, our thoughts for the library in the future. I love hosting, having the focus groups on the steering committee breakfast. I thought it was a wonderful week. Very thankful to all the people that were involved. And again, big thank you for the staff, Heather, Amy, for the marketing and getting the stuff out, getting the survey out, the responses, the fact that we got so many responses, 500 responses, I think is just, is so exciting and great. Yeah, and it's nice, you know, meeting with them today and kind of being able to provide feedback on how it's gonna start to look.
All right. Does policy committee have anything today?
I'll just give you a quick update on that. The staff met our next one we looked at was nepotism, and the board policy committee looked at employment practices, exempt versus non-exempt, and employee classifications. So we are moving along.
Great. All righty, so the auditors are not here to present. We're just gonna go over the report.
Yeah, this is just for me to be able to get approval to sign and say, you know, yeah, we're gonna move forward.
Well, that's why it's brought by your signature. Okay, I got you.
Holy. Here we go.
So we're really looking at that journal entry form.
Okay.
To answer those 3 questions, you would look on the adjusting journal entries as well as the past investments to see if you want to move forward with this. We touched upon it briefly in finance committee. One of the things that came up was when we looked at this specifically under the regarding the seal coding, one of the things that came up, and that would be under the comments and recommendations.
What page are we looking at?
Comments and recommendations are going to be looking at page 3, and it's going to be under current year recommendations. One of the
Okay,
things that came up there was the library capitalized the parking lot seal coating. An audit adjustment was made to remove the asset and related depreciation because of a 2005 library capitalization policy that stated additions, improvements, and other capital outlays that significantly extend the useful life of an asset are capitalized. And so the auditor's thoughts on this per that 2005 policy is that it really should just be expensed. And so that's why that was put there. In finance committee, I have gone through the Library of Michigan's financial guide, and there is a current example of a capitalization policy that I'd like finance committee to, look at and, fix what we want to fix and present to the board hopefully next month so that we can add the capitalization portion to the finance policy. A couple other things that I would draw your attention to on the audit.
so what for this for the seal coating, what's the decision on that?
That's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
As a board, do you want to go with what the audit is recommending for right now for the 2005 policy and expense it? No, I mean, in the future, when we seal coat, we can.
It seems to me like that would be the way to do it.
That's-
It's
I
think,
not
absolutely,
like a
absolutely.
long-term machine
Right.
that
Right.
we're depreciating and never
Right.
using again.
I do think it's a routine maintenance
It's
expense.
gonna require maintenance, just like a little lawn. to
Yeah.
me, Right?
So
What was the?
Of the seal coating?
Yes,
89.50.
8,900.
yeah, no, I would think it's a maintenance,
Yeah.
occasional maintenance.
So you need a motion for that, or?
I just need permission to sign. Next month is when we'll have them out.
Okay, so we all agree that it should be routine maintenance. So what are the other things that they're wanting to
Yeah, so one of the other things that came up was, every year the auditor sends a form to the director. The director signs it, sends it back to the auditor, and the auditor sends that to the township in order to get a full look at the taxes, okay? In all of that, it doesn't get sent back to the director, it doesn't get sent back to me. And so thus I was able to share it with Joe.
Oh,
And so we got a little bit of a ding on that. So now.
And
I
what
know
number is that one?
That is actually under the superseded material weakness. That would be your number 1. Not reporting property taxes receivable.
We gotta go in order.
Yeah,
It's truly,
Okay, so-
I'm way too confused.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, so Is it this page?
It's the one
Number
that
one
has the
on
number
top.
one
Okay,
on the back, or
So
that's
look
where our
at the
meeting
second
did not
page.
record.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
About recording
okay.
property taxes receivable.
Okay,
So I just need to confirm it every year.
got
Get
it.
that. If what the township sends to the auditor, I need a copy.
From the township or from the auditor?
Either one.
Somebody needs to give you a copy.
Share, okay.
Somebody needs to share.
Got it.
And then that way I can give it to Joe and he can properly record.
Okay,
Okay.
so he didn't report property tax receivable.
So,
So now he's got it.
okay. So you just, when you give the forms to the township, ask for a copy back, if it's as simple as that?
It's as simple as that.
Okay, not a very big
Okay,
problem.
because it says the library should confirm property taxes receivable with the township each year and adjust the books to actual before the audit commences.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that information. It says this communication is intended for the information and use of the board and management. And, you know, obviously none of us saw that, right? So now you have a process and how we'll see it. Okay,
Okay.
Yep,
all right.
So will we as a group give equal permission to sign?
yes.
There was other recommendations. Are we gonna go through those?
Oh, I thought you were done.
I'm just, whatever you guys want to go through.
Which packet are
Okay.
we on?
Well, I
Yeah,
think,
number
don't you
one.
think that we go through the recommendations and see what we're going to do with those recommendations before we say you should sign?
Sure. Yep.
I agree.
Okay, so show me what we're looking at.
So we've done 1 and 2.
Out of order.
So,
So if you look at number 2,
Do you mean a red number two?
red,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
recommendation. You're gonna focus on current year recommendations. And that's where the seal coating was on number 1,
mhm,
okay?
and we
then
agreed on
so
that.
okay, yeah.
Number 2, there was an increase in the assigned fund balance. So an adjustment was made there.
Okay,
3.
And do we know why?
And look at the financials. to
Okay.
See, I think there was one thing that wasn't,
Insurance?
the insurance was the next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, there was with a, trying to remember the 2022. There was something with what wasn't spent in 2021, I believe, that was brought over into 2022, which changed and caused an increase in the fund balance. If I remember.
Is that number 2 in the recommendations? The
Yeah,
14,000?
Mhm. Mhm.
Number 3, I can tell you for sure that has to do with FSA. So that was money that was unused, and that gets taken, once, if it's not used after a certain amount of time, it's given back to the library. So that's what that was. And it wasn't, it was put, library, we recorded it as a company contribution, and what it should look at. It should have been put in employee benefit, added to employee benefit expense. So that's on past adjustments. So it wasn't accounted for, it was accounted for in the wrong area of the funds.
Does this have to do anything to do with what was going on with Denise's? So,
And other employees that didn't use all of it.
Okay.
so what you're saying is it's just now recorded in the. Because it's telling us our recommendation, so I'm assuming we're just recording in a different fund.
Correct.
Okay,
Some of this, the auditor can speak to a little bit more. I just need to tell them whether we're going to go ahead with some of this or not. It's a little bit, they have a little bit more expertise on what's,
Yeah.
what's gonna go where and.
Okay.
I went over this with Joe, our accountant, and he thought everything looked good and was saying yes to everything. He did feel that just touching back on the seal coating, he did feel that the seal coating should be, depreciated. As opposed to expense, but he understood that wasn't something he wanted to do. But the rest of it, we didn't have nothing.
So looking at status of the prior year recommendations, let's like, number one, we implemented what they asked for, right? Number two, though, the status of library capitalized these, computers that individually, things were less than $1,000. It actually asks a question here that I don't think we're ignoring. So it says, if the library is intended to capitalize purchases of multiple assets that individually are less than capitalized policy threshold, but a total exceeding the capitalized policy threshold, the capitalization policy should be amended to clarify this. So this is actually an action item for us.
Exactly, yes, and I do believe when we look at the capitalization policy, we need to make that decision.
Okay, so that
And for future going.
we actually have to make a decision on that. And so, because it was a recommendation from last year and we didn't do anything about it. So Rich, I don't know about you, but in my previous life, when we had a computer system, we didn't look at the whole system and capitalize, the keyboard, the monitor, the mouse.
Right. Yeah, you would take the whole system, but then the question is, do you capitalize? A computer that's, individually less than, $1,000.
Well, I think we were looking at those accessories as of the whole and capitalizing all of it. And so the auditors are recommending that we make a decision what we're going to do.
Oh, I see. It's not that we bought 5 computers, it's that we bought a computer. And then separately bought a monitor, separately bought a.
And we
keyboard.
capitalized all of that as a bundle. And, I've never been in a situation where we capitalized the accessories, like the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse.
As well, I can see it. I can see it being treated. I've seen it treated as a unit, but the accessories, the others, the non, the big stuff is not really. Those are almost consumables.
Right, right.
So
exactly.
I would recommend to treat them individually and avoid capitalizing
Mhm.
things that are.
Because we don't pay taxes. So why are we capitalizing, right? We're not paying
It's
taxes
not
on this.
about the.
But that's really why
it's
you
about-
usually,
It's about the book value,
the book
the
value,
asset.
right, but we don't usually, but because we're not paying taxes on these things, I don't see the need to capitalize them either.
Well, it's
These
a fair,
accessories.
you want a fair assessment of the value of the assets. But the depreciation of computers is so quick.
Right.
And they're not, if you have something that comes up to the minimum. We had to raise the minimum.
So I don't know if I've seen the capitalization policy, but if we're going to,
We could clarify that, it's. But then if you buy an HVAC system and there's, it comes in 3 parts. You really.
okay, can
find
you
one
read,
thing.
would you read this? Because I actually think we need to leave it as is. Because it says the library's capitalization policy states the following: capital assets are defined by the library as assets with an initial cost of more than 1,000, estimated useful life in excess of 2 years. If the library purchases multiple items that together total over 1,000, but each individual item is less than 1,000, it's appropriate to expense the items unless they're all part of the same unit, such as computer, monitor, keyboard, blah, blah. So I actually think that we need to just stay with our, the current capitalization policy and not make that change. And, you know, we need, and I think that we're not actually in, we're not aligning with our
I
own
think
capital
last year we
policy.
capitalized some items. And that's what the recommendation was to, you know, clarify your policy. If you want to do what you did, then clarify the policy. But I think it makes more sense to not have capitalized those and to agree that we, you know, we whooped on the
And the way we
Capital.
recorded it, yes. Mhm.
So can we make sure that that goes into a new capitalization policy?
Well,
Just
actually, this
confirm.
capitalization policy is what we should be doing, and we didn't do that in our books.
Yeah.
Is the point.
And it's nice to have the policy now, but just to make sure that it's, when we review it in finance committee,
Yes.
that it's exactly what we want.
Okay,
This
All right.
obviously will be.
but this is an action item that we didn't take, that, you know, that was a prior year recommendation, and I don't know if we really looked at it. Okay. Okay, and so then number 4, current year recommendations is,
Yeah, so current number 4, so there was with a lease, so we're ending our Xerox lease and we started a Toshiba lease. And so this is had to do with the value. So, not the bad, library did not calculate the right of use asset, lease liabilities and amortization for the copier lease in effect during 2022, so that would be the previous lease. The one that's ending. And then since the calculated right of use asset and lease liabilities were immaterial
okay,
as of December, no audit adjustment was made. However, we signed a new lead copier lease in March, and so we're going to need to calculate that right of use asset, lease liability, and amortization. I'm working with Joe on this right now.
okay,
Because we're still finalizing the end of the Xerox lease and how the new Toshiba one's gonna work and how that's gonna be paid off, because Toshiba is gonna be giving us funds to pay off some of the last few reunions
okay,
of the Xerox.
is that Millennium Business Systems
No,
Yeah.
Toshiba.
we're talking about?
so this is gonna be addressed really before the end of the year for our next audit, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Is there anything that we need to look, I read through it, but is there anything else that you need to call to our attention on
No.
the financial report?
Like I said, I want to talk with Joe about the thing, he thought everything looked fine, he just called attention to the one.
Okay,
And we handled the other, the township, and all of that.
Okay. All right, so we've just got some old business updates left.
Yeah, so old business, the bathroom tiling, it's complete, including some minor adjustments. But I am calling him back and he's coming back, our guy is coming back on July 8th. There's just one more thing I thought I was okay with, and
The
Jen and I are.
Or the 2 circles?
Yeah,
Or, yeah.
they, I'm still not quite, like I was okay, and I wasn't okay, but then I'll.
yeah, I wasn't okay. I
Well,
know
they
exactly what you're talking
it
about.
was even, but now it's concave, that it's dried.
Yeah.
The color is not a good
Yeah.
match. and
Right,
We should just take out those like tiles
that's what I.
and
it's a-
replace them.
Yeah, so I talked to him
Yeah.
yesterday, and he's coming on July 8th to take out those tiles and just replace them.
Okay.
And we were also looking at possibly putting in something between
Do anything with the molding?
the top of the tile
Okay.
and the wood, because after, I don't know, the design seemed good at first.
April and I stand at eye level. Where that.
Yeah, and
And so that's like all we see, and
Really?
it needs to be
It's just,
smoothed out and finished out.
it just
Okay.
almost needs like a piece two, like
Yeah.
a little something extra. 'Cause
You know, like a windscreen, like when you put your
Rich
screen
said
your
she'd add a
sliding
sparkle.
door, and you put that lace in it. Or some kind of small molding, just something to finish that off. And there were a couple areas that hadn't been grouted that I'm
So
sure they'll catch.
He's brought something, he's gonna bring some more samples, but.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
all righty.
Um.
I saw
So,
your note about the drive-through getting pushed out again.
yeah, that's,
But it's better than
it actually,
monthly.
yes, it actually wound up being okay. I actually, when it happened, I said, okay, that's all right. July 15th, we'll reopen the window to the public on July 24th. That will give us time for him. Outside actually only takes a couple days. It's the inside, that's the work, putting in the counter. And we've been working on getting the computer, everything that's set up, cash register, everything that we need to be another place to check out items, pay fines and things like that. So we've been working on that, phone, etc. And then staff training, we've also been working on procedure, so staff are gonna need a couple days to get in there and practice.
For sure.
And so in the meantime, now what'll happen is, so July 15th is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Push it to that Thursday, we'll open up the regular book drops so that they can at least start to drop off books in that. And then Monday for that.
Is there a way we can set up some kind of drop off for customers in front of the building or something?
We really don't have anything that's enclosed.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, but we are gonna put a message in there. They can either come in, they can also use neighboring libraries. So that's not
Oh, true.
they can,
Yeah.
and I'll alert the other directors to see, hey, just to give you a heads up.
Would it be
For-
too cumbersome for people to use the pickup phone number? For people to come out and get the books? Is that a lot to ask?
It could, I don't know if I can have staffing
Yeah.
to. Can you bring some books? Can you bring? Yeah, I could have a lineup.
Yeah.
So, it's a little inconvenient, but
But
it's
it's only a
actually
couple
just.
days, right?
It's only 5, and one of the days we're closed.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to see what we could do to make it better for the customers, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's somewhat of, there's options, but the problem is I could wind up creating a bigger problem,
Mhm.
so. Seems to be. What happens, so, yeah.
All righty,
So they just have to come inside, right?
for those days.
Or drop off.
Can we
And,
get
down
a,
the street.
can we get a message on the electronic signage
We're gonna
board
do all of that.
for that time?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm
Yeah.
sure Heather has a cute.
She probably made a cute little
I'm sure.
thing. All righty. Well, thank you, Heather. All right, well, it brings us to our favorite time of the evening. And
I
need a
move
motion.
to adjourn the meeting at 7:48.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Yay, we got through a lot.